Welcome to Euro Bangla City SATV News with Shibala Alam with our headlines. Prime Minister urged the international community to turn their words into actions over the Rohingya crisis to solve the protracted problem. 50 lakh more doses of Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccine have reached Dhaka from China early today. US announces $180 million humanitarian aid for those affected by Rohingya refugee crisis in Myanmar, Bangladesh and elsewhere in the region. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has urged the international community to turn their words into rhetoric over the Rohingya crisis into actions to solve the protracted problem. The Prime Minister said this while speaking at the high-level side event on forcibly displaced Myanmar national crisis in New York on Wednesday. Bangladesh arranged the event Imperatives for a Sustainable Solution, while 8 other countries including the UK, Ireland, Turkey and Saudi Arabia co-sponsored it. A total of 23 speakers from across regional countries spoke at the event, moderated by permanent representative of Bangladesh to the United Nations Rabab Fatima. All the speakers attended their solidarity with Bangladesh over the solution to the Rohingya crisis. Hasina said that these displaced people are Myanmar nationals and they must go back to their homeland, Myanmar, in safety and dignity. We all, especially the international community, must do everything possible to make this happen. 50 lakh more doses of Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccine have reached Dhaka from China early today. A flight of Biman Bangladesh Airlines landed with the vaccine consignment at Hadrat Shahjalal International Airport around 2 a.m. according to the notification issued by the Public Relations Office of the Health Ministry. Dr. Abu Zahir, Chief Health Coordinator of Director General of Health Services, received the consignment at the airport. The notification reads,
"But efficacy could not be estimated."
United States announces nearly $180 million in additional humanitarian assistance for those affected by Rohingya refugee crisis in Myanmar, Bangladesh and elsewhere in the region. On behalf of the United States, Ambassador to the United Nations Linda Thomas-Greenfield announced the humanitarian assistance according to the U.S. Department of State. This total funding has included more than $1.2 billion for programs in Bangladesh and allows the humanitarian partners to provide life-saving assistance to the nearly 900,000 Rohingya refugees in here. It also provides support to more than 472,000 affected members of the local host community in Bangladesh. U.S. humanitarian assistance for the crisis delivers across multiple realms, including education, food security, health, nutrition, protection, shelter, disaster response, water, sanitation and hygiene. Boshundhara Group Managing Director MD Saim Sobhan Anvir has sought anticipatory bail from the High Court in the case filed on charges of rape and murder of college student Musrat Jahan Munia. The plea has been put in the cause list of the bench of Justice Mustafa Zaman Islam and Justice KM Zahid Sarwar for a hearing on Thursday, reports media. Munia's elder sister Nusrat Jahan Tania had filed the case with Dhaka Women and Children Repression Prevention Tribunal 8 against Boshundhara Group Chairman Ahmed Akbar Sobhan, his son Anvir and 6 others on September 6. Viewers are taking a short break. Stay with Euro Bangla City SATV News. Welcome back. You're watching Euro Bangla City SATV News. Now international news. The top infectious diseases expert in the US said children 5 to 11 years old could be receiving COVID-19 vaccine as early as this month. Just days earlier, Anthony Fauci said he has been aiming for Halloween, but he is hopeful it could happen quicker, adding that the FDA wants to do it quickly. This comes as the number of cases surged among children following the full opening of in-person classes in schools across the US. Pfizer announced Monday that results from the pediatric trial indicate that its vaccine is safe and effective for children in this age group in a smaller dosage than adults. To beat the pandemic, U.S. President Joe Biden announced that the United States plans to donate an additional 500 million Pfizer vaccine to the rest of the world. United States on Wednesday promised to buy 500 million more COVID-19 vaccine doses to donate to other countries as it comes under increasing pressure to share its supply with the rest of the world. President Joe Biden made the announcement during the virtual summit aimed at boosting global vaccination rate against the coronavirus and rallying world leaders to do more. Biden said that the pandemic that has raged since early 2020, killing more than 4,900,000 people. The additional vaccines will bring U.S. donations to more than 1.1 billion doses, far short of the 5 billion to 6 billion doses global health experts say is needed by poorer countries. Delivery of the new tranche will begin in January. The race for the top position at the World Health Organization seems like a one-man race as Germany announced Wednesday that it has nominated Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus for a new term. He appears to be the sole candidate for the position, with Germany's nomination secured as the deadline for submission is Thursday. Dr. Tedros has not yet confirmed that he will run for a second 5-year term, but a number of diplomatic sources said he would stand. He has been relatively popular due to his role in steering the WHO's effort to coordinate the global pandemic response, but his candidacy has been complicated after Ethiopia allegedly withdrew its support over the conflict in his home region of Tigray. Watchers say most had predicted the backing would come from a country in Africa which has generally been content to have been one of its own in such a high position, and Germany's nomination did come as a surprise. Dr. Tedros was elected as the head of the WHO in 2017, becoming the first African to take the helm of the UN Health Agency. Pakistani Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi urges Afghanistan to be realistic with patience and to have great connections with the world community. Pakistan government is proposing that the international community develop a roadmap that leads to diplomatic recognition of the Taliban with incentives if they fulfill its requirements, and then sit down face to face and talk it out with the group's leader. Pakistani Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi outlined the idea on Wednesday in an interview with media on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly's meeting of world leaders. Qureshi said Pakistan is in sync with the international community in wanting to see a peaceful, stable Afghanistan with no space for terrorist elements, to increase their footholds, and for the Taliban to ensure that Afghan soil is never used again against any country. Let's take a look at what's going on in the world now. We start things off in the US, where the White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said that the US President Joe Biden's call with French President Emmanuel Macron lasted 30 minutes and was friendly. The call comes as France recalled its ambassadors from the US and Australia last week as it accused President Biden of stabbing them in the back after Australia dished a $40 billion defense contract with France for the purchase of the submarines and opted for US submarines instead. In a joint statement issued by the phone call, the two leaders agreed to launch in-depth consultation to rebuild trust and to meet in Europe at the end of October. The call was requested by Washington in an attempt to mend ties. Kabul-born fashion designers have long drawn inspiration for their formal wear collection from the bright, intricate and embellished traditional dress of Afghan women. Afghan women are championing their homeland's rich clothing heritage to protest against the new dress code for female students and help women affected by the women's return. Dalia Nilufar brings the story.
All people across the world have been saying Afghanistan is war and destruction. So for Afghan women, there was a purpose to show another side to Afghanistan, the human side, the culture and traditions, bright traditional dresses and their hair and faces uncovered. Soon afterwards, Afghan women started posting pictures online of themselves wearing. Afghan women obey a standard dress code. The Kabul-born fashion designers always sought to highlight the design and textiles traditions of a country that is rarely the subject of positive headlines in the global media. Afghan designers' bold and colorful creations are caught in brocade and silks. Afghanistan is one of the world's biggest cashmere wool producers, according to the Business of Fashion Research Group, and many Afghans work as artisans skilled in embroidery and beading. The many Afghan women who prefer to wear a veil should have their choice respected. Traditional Afghan dresses are also modest and unrevealing. However, in a patriarchal society, fashion offers women a precious chance for self-expression and visibility. And that is why the amazing dresses would encourage young women of Afghan descent to embrace their heritage. Dalia Nulfar, SATV News Desk.
Before ending, we go to the Euro-Bangla city SATV news headlines again. Prime Minister urged the international community to turn their words into actions over the Rohingya crisis to solve the protracted problem. 50 lakh more doses of Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccine have reached Dhaka from China early today. US announces $180 million humanitarian aid for those affected by Rohingya refugee crisis in Myanmar, Bangladesh and elsewhere in the region. We are up to date so far here on Euro-Bangla City SATV News, and to know the latest news visit www.satv.tv. Stay with SATV.